Hello and welcome to a Bergkamp Wonderland. I'm Gimli and tonight I'll be joined by, first up, he's our producer and resident surly old man. It's Danny the GFP. Hello, Danny.
Oh, hello, senor.
Has it all gone tits up this week?
Oh, it's gone in many dimensions of my life. Have gone tits up. I've annoyed a good friend, of which I didn't mean to do, and I'm very sorry. And I love him lots. And if he was here, I'd give him a big man hug. But then he'd probably put me in a Boston back crab, break me in half, and leave me for dead.
It's like another language.
Yeah, and I've a Boston back crab isn't even a move. It's what my mate Frank used to say. I've had acupuncture on my knees again, which is lovely. And my neck was hurting, so I've taken 2 30-milligram cocodamols so I could pass out at any point.
Did you feel a little bit of a prick at any time?
I was 2 in each knee and 4 in my neck.
Oh.
Don't fuck around.
No. Right.
Yes.
Next up, a man that since his debut on this show a month ago has been a big hit with the podcasting world. Soon to be stolen by the Footballistically podcast, it's Kris Carpenter. Hello, Kris.
Hello, mate. How are you? All right?
I'm not too bad, thank you. How are you?
I'm still quite overweight. I'm still 31 and still living in Plymouth. Other than that, nothing changes.
And you still sound like Daniel Cowan.
Yeah, indeed. I'm slightly better looking, but other than that, yeah, exactly the same.
Fair enough. We'll open that one up to a debate. Next up, also another grumpy. I can't say that. Who writes these fucking notes? Anyway, it's Gav from She Wore a Yellow Ribbon. Hello, Gav.
Is that the best you could do this week?
Yeah,
you need new material, mate.
It was me that wrote the notes, and you don't want to see what the word I wrote was.
Go on, get on with it. Choppy.
Lovely stuff. And finally, my brother from the valleys, it's Jason Davies. Hello, Jason.
Good evening.
It's a pleasure to have you back. I was on gardening leave, not uphill gardening, but just gardening leave. Last time you were on, and it was a shame that I missed you.
I know. I missed yourself. I missed Steve, the Lord Hillwood. I was a bit gutted, but the company was good, and people couldn't understand a word I said. So for all of them, call blimey Gavna.
See, I can translate. Basically, he had a lovely time. He missed Steve, but it was fun. Right then. Before we start this podcast, officially, I'd like to say that if anyone mentions Arsene Wenger this evening, then they have to put £1 per mention into a pot for his retirement fund. Everywhere I turn and everything I read is about him, and to be quite honest, I'm sick of it. So now that's out the way, let's go over to Danny for all the scores across the board and for a new injuries update section. Take it away, Danny.
All right, here we go. First of all, thanks to George Bird and his Arsenal youth site for most of this info, and that is wobble.arsenalyouth.wordpress.com/, and hopefully we're going to twist George's arm in the summer and get him to come on, because a lot of you have been asking about upcoming players, how they've been doing this season, ones that might do well in the first team next season. So I think I might have dreamt it, but I think he might be coming on to do that, so that'll be something to look forward to in the summer. And we're also going to do a little bit of World Cup stuff, and so Jason's going to come on and represent Wales. And they're not in it, are they? Oh, bollocks. Oh, forget that.
Cheeky fucker. Hey, boys, if you had Ian Rush, Ryan Giggs,
Dean Saunders,
or Mark Hughes, not Dean Saunders, no.
Neville Southall,
you might fucking win one.
How dare you?
Do you know what? I'm surprised you said Gareth Bale, because every other Welsh person, that's all they can talk about. It's like there's 2 words in Wales at the moment: Gareth Bale, all the time.
Boys, he looks like a monkey and he's fucking epic and he's a gooner.
Right, anyway, shut up. Let me get on with this. We've had a disastrous week for the kids. Anyway, we went away to Bolton on Monday and we lost 2-1, and Icefeld scored our goal. And then last Friday we went to Spurs and lost 2-0. Disgraceful. Our next game for the under-21s is tonight at 7 p.m. So we're just about to start the second half. I've tried finding a place that gives us a score, and I will carry on looking.
I can tell you if you like.
Oh, go on then.
We're 1-0 down at half-time.
Oh, bollocks. Right, yeah, so
sorry to bring the doom.
Forget that. And then even more bloody doom. Not only did the under-21s lose 2-0 at Spurs, but then yesterday Spurs came to our place and did our under-18s 3-1. For fuck's sake, 2 losses against the scum in 5 days. Dobson scored our goal. Probably Anita Dobson, the way we bloody under-18s play. Bless them. Saturday, we went to Blackburn and won 1-0 last Saturday with a goal from the legend that is going to be Daniel Crowley. I don't know why I always want to say Cowley. It's Crowley scoring the goal. He's definitely one to watch. He's very, very good young player. Their next game is on Saturday with an away game up in Newcastle with an 11 a.m. kickoff. So... yeah, if you go, tell them we said hello. The ladies. Now, I've been bigging up the ladies all season, saying they're going to do brilliant. We're going to get to the Champions League final. They played Birmingham in the first leg of the Champions League, and they lost 1-0 away. And you think, well, that's not too bad. We've got the home leg coming. They only bloody beat us 2-0 at home. And I think one of our ex-players scored. So I'm absolutely gutted about that. So their next game is the 13th of April, home to Gillingham. And I think, from what I was reading, that could well be an FA Cup game. But I can't be 100% sure because the Arsenal website is a bit shit. Now, another thing we're going to start doing is a quick roundup of injuries. It should take a minute. I say a minute. It could take 2 to 3 hours at the rate we're fucking going. But... www.w is arsenalreport.com/injury room. Now, this is a fantastic site and it's only for Arsenal. So it's got all transfers and there's a forum on there and a squad and numbers. And the thing I like about it the most, it lists all the Arsenal players, how long they've been out for all season. At the moment, Jack Wilshere, he's been out for 30 days. They reckon he'll be back in 4 weeks. Theo Walcott, cruciate ligament tear, been out for 90 days, could be back in 3 months. Abu Diaby had a cruciate ligament tear, been out for 384 days, back in training.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
It's quite bad that we're all sat here pissing ourselves.
And he's only 27. What a poor bloke. And everyone, there's not a player on that list that I want back more than Diaby.
And he spent 26 and a half years of those on a fucking injury table.
I think when he was born, he fell on the floor and did his calves or something like that.
Even Carnew's fitter than Diaby, and he's 107 now.
Oh, I was at Carnew's 18th birthday party last week. He's doing well. Freddie Adu was there as a 6-month-old. It was lovely. Anyway, Lauren Koscielny, calf strain. He's been out for 13 days. He could be back in 2 weeks. And Mesut Ozil, it says here, hamstring injury, been out for 24 days. Return date 2 weeks. But didn't you have a little bit of news on that, Gim? Didn't they say that he might be on the bench soon?
I think the breaking news was tonight that Ramsey would be fit enough to make the squad at Everton, and Ozil and Koscielny would be back for Hull.
So when is Hull? Because next week is the FA Cup semi-final, so that is in 2 weeks' time, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it'd be nice if you'd be back for the. Actually, we should easily beat Wigan. So there you go. So if you want to go and have a look at any injuries and stuff, and it says every single injury that we've had this season, so it took me 4 hours to scroll down the page. But it's well worth it when you get to the end, and the butler didn't do it. So there you go. That's me done with that little bit of wondrous information with a thanks to those 2 sites.
Oh, thank you very much. So first up, we'll talk about the 1-1 draw at home to Manchester City. On the day, a pretty decent performance, and not the drubbing I think we all first feared. Kris, we'll start with you and your thoughts on this one, please.
Tale of 2 halves, really. First half, I think it was one of those games where a lot of people, including me, were going in thinking, oh God, what if they get an early goal? What's the atmosphere going to be like? What's the scoreline going to be like? Seeing Flamini start was a bonus straight from the off. And I was also sort of quite pleased to see that despite the fact of going down and losing that goal, we really turned it around. And there seemed to be, in the second half, there seemed to be a real determination, which has been sadly lacking, particularly in those big 3 games that we won't ever talk about again this season. The only thing that I was really cheesed off with was the amount of people that had a go at Podolski for losing the ball for their equaliser. Okay, granted he did, but watching that back, he doesn't seem to get any call of a man on as the ball's coming towards him, and that kind of frustrated me. But other than that, the second half alone, we were worthy of a point. I'm sure all of you thought the same as I did. I was convinced that Podolski shot had gone in, to the point where I was quite glad I was on my own, because I was jumping around the living room thinking we'd scored, and then had to sit there like a prick and realise that it hadn't gone in. And I don't think Joe Hart knew anything about that save. So yeah, overall, pretty pleased. And I thought we got what we deserved in the second half performance.
Very good. Gav, we'll chuck it straight over to you then. Is there anything you want to build on that, or anything you want to add?
No, not really. I think Kris has got it pretty much bang on, really. We was a bit awful the first half, and we was a bit better the second half, and probably had the lion's share of the possession and the decent chances in the second half to sort of maybe grab a winner at the end. But it was just one of those games, really. It was nice to see a bit of character in the second half from the team, but it wasn't really awe-inspiring, so to speak. It was just a nice pick-me-up the way we sort of finished the game strong, really. But I say it's one of them anyway. A point was probably about the best result we could have hoped for anyway.
Mm. And Jason, Sanya, Rosicky and Flamini all on top form again, and Cazorla in the second half.
Yeah, Santi worries me a little bit at times because he's got a lack of pace, but thought he really came back strong. The whole team came back strong in the second half. I don't think we were awful in the first half. I was a bit annoyed with Gibbs trailing back on the run. He seemed to stop and pull up for the goal, but hey ho, that's the way it goes sometimes. And we were just unlucky. I thought, second half, I was really happy with the way they came back. Sports like that, sometimes you lose a bit of confidence. And to be fair, all the doom and gloom merchants are saying they're going to get smashed.
Danny.
Yeah.
And I never saw us getting smashed in this game. But we did okay, didn't we?
And this is a point you brought up there, Jason. Santi Cazorla impressing now he has his free roll back. Now Mesut Ozil is out injured, Danny. Would you like to explain a little bit more about that? As me and you were talking about it, weren't we?
What about that he now has a bit of a free roll?
Yes.
Because last season he scored all those wonderful goals, and I think you can only really afford to have one player have a free roll, and that's why Cazorla was so good last season. He although he was based on the left hand side, and Theo was on the right, and Theo was banging in the goals. It was mainly Cazorla that was having the free roll, and not a completely unlimited kind of Gaza free roll where you could literally be at any position on the pitch you wanted, but he was allowed to get forward, didn't have to track back that much, could go across the middle, could make runs at goals, could pass it, do 1-2s, and it's nice to see. At the beginning of this season, everyone will have noticed that Cazorla wasn't doing that, and he wasn't scoring the goals, and we thought, oh no, is he a one-season wonder? And then after a while you realise that it's because Ozil has been given that job, and at times you think, I'd like to see those two swap, because Ozil can play on the wing. And years ago, we used to always have Ljungberg and Perez would always swap wings. Recently, we've had Walcott and the Ox. They would occasionally swap wings. It'd be nice to see Cazorla being able to swap with Ozil when they're playing at the same time, because then you get to see maybe have one of them have 10 minutes of it, because between them they can terrorise teams, and it's nice to see now that Ozil is out that Cazorla is doing that. He's getting a few more games, a few more goals. He was man of the match according to some sites at the weekend, and he's a joy to watch, because you never know which way he's going to go, because he's ambidextrous with his feet. I'm sure there is a proper terminology for that, but it's just a delight to see that he hasn't actually lost it, that he's just doing a more confined role on the wings.
Why don't you just try two-footed?
Yeah, could do. Yeah, he's got both feet in it. But what a lot of people have been talking about is what the manager, because we can't say I can't afford a pound, what the manager did at half time. Why doesn't he do? Because quite often they've gone in at half time and he's given them a bollocking, and then the second half they come out and played really well. A lot of people have said we'd never seem to start games as we finish them, which I think there is something to that. So what is it that he's doing at half time that he's not doing at the beginning of games?
I think he's going for a cup of tea and leaving it to somebody else.
Leaving it to someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Ouch.
He would say that, wouldn't he?
Well,
But did the players have the fear for him, though? Sorry, Gav, but did the players have the kind of fear for Arsene Wenger that, say, maybe the Manchester United...
pound.
Oh, he's fallen in his own shitty trap.
Oh, my fucking rules, and I've done it. All right, no problem.
You've just changed the rules.
I have. No, it stays. But would we say that, say, the Manchester United players respected Alex Ferguson because they knew if they played badly that they go into the dressing room and they get a strip ripped off of them? Would you say that the Arsenal players don't have that same kind of fear factor for the manager? Kris?
I think the word you just used there was the second time round was the right word, fear. I think they respect the manager because whether you're a pro or anti him,
I think you need to rescind that law, Gims. It's just fucking with the pod.
No, just do it. It's fun.
Okay, without he who shall not be named. Yeah, if you fear somebody, there's a lot more to that than if you respect somebody. If you disrespect someone, you can easily make that up with performances, or if you do something wrong in a game, you can always make it up. If you physically fear somebody, or if you're concerned about, just for example, Ferguson, look at what he did with Jaap Stam, with David Beckham, with Van Nistelrooy. I mean, these were players at their peak of their careers when they were sold. If you're a player who plays for Arsenal and you know that, okay, I can turn it on 3 weeks out of 10, but I know full well I'm going to get back in the side, when there's no real fear for your place, then okay, you can respect a manager as much as you like, but if you don't worry about your place, why does that even come into it? So I think the fear is more important than the respect.
But also we see Nicholas Bentner going off on weekly escapades. I mean, I know we did a podcast about not tweeting players' abuse, but earlier I called him a minge and told him to focus on his football. But if there was any kind of respect towards the manager, then you would have thought that these players wouldn't be going out and doing things like that.
How does he know that? A question, I know we mentioned this last night, Kim. I really can't understand how at a Premier League club, and whether this is the manager, whether this is who looks after the players, whether this is the PR, this is a Premier League club. I run a Sunday League side. If one of my players goes out on the piss on a Sunday night, I know about it. How is a Premier League club not able to know that a player is, or who just comes in and says, "Oh, I've got a bad injury," or "I've got a knock on my ankle this week," and then fucks off to Denmark for a week? I don't understand how that is possible for us as a club of our size to not know whether a player is legit injured or not. And if he's not legit injured, why on earth have we allowed him to go abroad? Unless he has just given up on him, which obviously clearly now he has, but really he should have given up on him 7 months ago.
Why haven't, like I say, I was under the impression that the club held the players' passports.
Exactly.
Do they?
So yeah, I've been under the impression for years that obviously with the amount of European games, that the club holds the passports during the season, and they just get given to them when they're going away. That way, no player can turn up at the airport without his passport, because
they're all idiots.
Because they're all fucking idiots. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yes, I mean that was my impression. But I mean, as opposed to that Danish fella, he's just a fucking prick, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? He shouldn't have been allowed anywhere near the fucking first team this year. It's an absolute disgrace that he ever wore our shirt again, really.
You say about passports, Gav. I mean, wasn't there the same rule years ago when players didn't have their mobile phones? And look what happened 3 weeks ago.
Headphones. Get rid of headphones.
Yeah, it's the modern day pros are pampered.
Shits.
They get.
To be fair, okay, boys. Sorry, lads. Sorry to cut in. But to be fair, I don't know why Arsene Wenger, as soon as the Giroud business came out when he's dipping his whip when he shouldn't. Okay. Oh, tits.
This is a
fuck my life. I don't know why he didn't shave that fucker's hair off as an example to everyone, okay? And as soon as Nicholas Bentner comes along and starts jolling it up, he should take a baseball bat to his fucking knees and end him for good. Because he's no good to man nor dog.
Hashtag Welsh justice.
Justice in Wales, yeah.
Boys, if he needs me to do a job, I'm cheap.
I don't know how I've lasted here for so long. I really don't. They really are like Jason.
Nippy, and you look like a wrong 'un.
but it's something that you said last night, Chris, in regards to Bentner. Does he go in the medical room and does he go, "Oh, I'm injured this week," and then they go, "Oh, right, then.
Okay, see you later." Yeah,
and then they send him home. I mean, if a player says he's injured, do they run the rule over him, or do they just take it as gospel that he is injured? I mean, Gav, do you know anything regarding that?
Well, I mean, obviously they have to have a note from the doctor and their mummy to say why they're injured and they're not allowed out to play this week. But
well, maybe no, I mean, you would have.
Well, I don't know. I'm just under the impression that a player would want to play. Players should want to play all the time. Like, what's the point in training all week if you then decide that you don't want to play football? Obviously, we're in a different kettle of fish with somebody who didn't want to be at the club this year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Bentner didn't want to be. I mean, he literally. I mean, if it wasn't for Mourinho pulling the pin on Bar on the last couple of hours of the transfer window, Bentner was in sunny Crystal Palace by now. That's where he was. That's where he was going. He was all packed up and off, all signed and off he went. But
Just on that point,
I don't even want to speak to him. He just winds me up talking about the prick, really.
Really? Hadn't noticed.
Yeah,
just
he's
on,
just a fucking
on
idiot.
that point that you say, Gav, I think you've just hit on something there. Let's not forget, and don't get me wrong, Nicholas Bentner is clearly a very talented, but clearly a very big prick. But this is a guy that, let's make no mistake about it, we pretty much guaranteed him that he could move on. We then fucked about with him, telling him, actually, sorry about this, but we need you now, so you need to come and do a job for us, when we pretty much told him to fuck off last season. So why is it that now why should we expect him to give us anything now? He's a modern day footballer that we told him we wanted him out. I mean, if you went to work tomorrow and your boss said, I'd like to keep you around, but it's only until I can find somebody better, would you go back to work?
Yeah, but Chris,
You wouldn't put a full shift in, would you?
No,
Yeah, but-
no way.
And in all honesty, boys, he's supposed to be a professional footballer. For his own ambition, for wherever he wants to go onto from where he leaves us, he should want to be putting a shift in now to prove to clubs he's worth something.
He should.
You know?
But this is Bentner.
Yeah, I mean, what sort
He don't think like that, does he?
What sort of prick thinks he can jolly it up and do what he wants, get caught drink driving, break down doors. I mean, the guy's an utter clusterfuck.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when he went off and he had his loan at Sunderland, and he was sat up north slagging off Arsenal, saying that he'd never come back to the club, and then all of a sudden he bypasses that with a year at Juventus where he gets injured, and then all of a sudden he's back at Arsenal. I think it's a bit embarrassing for all concerned, really.
Yeah.
He's an embarrassment. That's the thing, and the problem is he was given too much too young, and he's going to be another footballer that's going to go down as being paid miles too much for the talent that he actually had.
Do you think maybe the situation
And
is
that's it. He's just a wanker. Can we move on?
You can
Bog it the ump.
Sure,
Spend time talking about that prick.
You can imagine around the Emirates, you can see Bentner walking around and Steve Bold going, "Oh, you don't look well, Bentner," and he goes, "Oh," and then someone else will go, "Bentner, you don't look well," and it's all a conspiracy by Wenger just to try.
Pound.
No, I didn't say the Arsenal bit, did I?
I used to.
No,
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and so then it's just all a conspiracy. It's just what do we do? We'll all go out and tell Bentner he looks ill. Then Bentner goes to the physio and goes, I don't think I look well. Yeah, you certainly don't. Here's a month off. Now fuck off. Going back to the game, it's nice to see that Podolski has now played 112 minutes, 2 assists and 1 goal in his last 2 games. Do you lot think that maybe he should get that left-hand side a little bit more often for the rest of the season?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, good. That's nice to hear. And also on the bench, 2 right backs. Have we ever had a team of 18 where we've had 3 right backs in the team? And I thought Andy only used 2 subs, didn't he? I thought it would have been nice to see maybe Kallstrom to come on, or Chimanu. No, Chim. I know one of them is a Chim and one of them is
Kim Chalstrom.
That's him. That's the one.
Dave.
Yeah, Dave. It'd be
Yeah.
nice for Dave to come on, and maybe for Rosicky, because Rosicky got that yellow and it looked like he was tiring near the end. Or get Gnabry to come on for Cazorla and move Cazorla into the middle. I'm surprised that in a big game like that at home, we only use 2 subs. But there again, I suppose if we're drawing against a team like Man City, he's probably sitting there crossing his fingers, hoping the ref would blow the whistle as soon as possible.
I think he's got everything crossed, doesn't he? Even his shoelaces at that point. But we will move on. But before we do, let's do our man of the match and who you guys thought was the man of the match. Kris?
I would personally go with Flamini. I know a lot of people said that Santi had a good game, and yes, he did. But I just, everything about that man, Flamini-wise, I just love his drive, his passion, the fact he's the sort of player that seems to drag a whole team along just with his attitude and his desire to win a ball. And I don't think it's any surprise that when he's played against the big side, we've got a better result. So I would have picked Flamini myself.
Fantastic. Jason?
Yeah, I'd go Flamini as well. I mean, the guy looks angrier after he scores a goal than he does beforehand, and he just looks like he wants to break somebody's legs. I'd love him. He gives us that chat at the back. I know the goal we conceded wasn't great, but it happens. And, we were sturdier, and he put in a real shift. So, Flamini all day.
Well, thank you very much. Gav?
I think whoever wound them up and whoever got them motivated at half time was my man of the match, whoever that was. Be it
That'd
a
be
player,
Steve
be it
Bolton.
one of the coaches. Oh, you never know who it is. I mean, it's never, an outrageous thing to say that, a player stood up and gone round and shook a few people, or they've got together and say, right, you take him, I take him, let's push further forwards or whatever. But, whoever slightly changed things and got motivated at half time is clearly the man of the day, really.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And finally, Danny.
Well, I'm going to go and pick my man of the season for me in the background. Man City had 15 shots during the game, 4 on target, 8 off target, and the wonderful Mr. Chesney. He had 53 touches, 3 saves, 3 crosses claimed, and I think he's such a domineering force in goal, whereas some of the others will go and do the pretty stuff. They say it's always the strikers that get the attention. I would give it to Chesney, although Thorler was brilliant, and Podolski is my personal favourite who can do no wrong, and Flamini was just magnificent in midfield, running around trying to cover Sagner's arse when he was wandering around having a pot noodle at the halfway line or whatever the fuck he thinks he's doing. Yeah, so I'm going to give mine to Chesney because I don't think goalkeepers get enough love in this world.
No, and he has. He's been on fine form this season too.
He certainly has. Who would you have?
Me? I would probably gone Flamini. I thought he was excellent. I thought he was the driving force behind that team. Or either that or Rosicky. I'll go Rosicky because I thought he was tireless. He was always running. He was always looking to play the pass, getting into space. I thought absolutely. Thomas Rosicky on his day for me is probably one of the best players we have.
He's a wonderful footballer.
Sure that's the one you want to stick with, or do you want to phone a friend?
No, Rosicky for me.
50-50?
No, Rosicky.
Okay, good.
Lovely stuff.
He is. I think, like Kris was just saying, he's a fantastic player and he's a joy to watch. And just think what he would have been like if he wouldn't have had that 2 years or 18 months of injuries.
Oh.
It's crying, isn't it?
Yeah.
But as I think John's pointed out on this podcast before, it's because of those injuries that he's had. He'll have a prolonged career at the end of it because he's not done the amount of running that other players have done. He's not had to do the fitness work that the other players have had to do on a daily basis. So,
and he is a Czech international, not a Czechoslovakian international, as I was told, because Czechoslovakia ceased to exist in 1993. I think I was talking to my mate from Croatia, and they try and educate me on it. But I said, "You lot all over there, I don't understand a word you're saying, and you're all the bloody same to me."
Look at Pavel Nedved. Look how long he went on for. What a player!
100 years old he was. Man of
I know. It's like Perlo. He'll probably go on till he's about 173.
Yes, easily.
Right then, we'll get back on topic. Everton next in a must-win game if we want 4th spot. What are they? Are they 1 point behind us now? 4 points behind us with a game in hand?
Yeah, they are.
So this really is a must-win game. I mean,
they want a form of 5 consecutive wins. Goal difference of only 1 less than ours.
But good news is that they might not have. Is it Ross Barkley?
Oh, he's only played a bit part all season. He's like our Wilshere in the early years.
But he has been fantastic for them.
Oh yeah, he has in fits and starts. But he's young and he'll put at the end. I think he said Martinez said he'll only be out for a short length of time. But their main thing for them is the fact that Lukaku is back and looking angry and looking up for it, which could be the thing that pushes them up to. Oh dear, I've got the hiccups. I'll shut up.
No, he's a beast. Did you see that the scum up the road got linked with Lukaku today? and I'm sat there thinking to myself, not that Chelsea would ever sell a player to us in a million years, as for the reason that Gav pointed out with, Demba Ba. You look at Mourinho when he was at Real Madrid with Nuri Sahin. But if we could get Lukaku, I would just.
I think Barnett has got more chance of getting him than Spurs.
A big physical forward. Do you know what I mean? And you're exactly right, Gav. Exactly the type of player that we are missing at the moment.
And he's got pace, hasn't he?
Bags of pace, loads of strong. He's powerful. He's got a great shot on him. I mean, some of the goals that he scored this season have been absolute bullets. But what do we make for this game then? Can we see us getting a result out of it, or can we see us drawing or maybe even unthinkable and actually losing? Jason, we'll go to you first.
I've got to be honest with you, lads, after recent weeks, I know we've had a tough time of it, okay, but I'm getting a bit sick of everybody being negative. Okay, we're the Arsenal. We're not fucking Hull City. We're the Arsenal. Let's go up there and get a win. We can do this, no problem. Everton are a decent side. I'm not saying, but if we set up right and everybody's heads on the game, we can beat them no problem 2-0. Nothing to be scared of.
Brilliant stuff. Oh, we'll do, seeing as Jason started us off on the trend then, we might as well do some predictions for this game as well, if that's all right with you guys.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so we'll go to you next, Gav.
What, you just want my prediction, or do you want me to talk about the game as well?
Yeah, if you could have a little chit-chatter about the game, what you think's going to happen, and give us a prediction at the end of it, that'd be superb.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is when you look at it, and when you look at our results against Everton over the years, I think I read somewhere earlier that it's the team that we've had the most top flight wins against. Probably because we're the two teams that have been in the top flight the longest. But
63.
Yeah.
63
You're having a
wins.
look at that as well, are you?
No, absolutely not. I know off by heart that we've had 63 wins and 16 draws and 16 losses.
Put the wiki down.
No, it's not actually. This is arsenal-world.co.uk head-to-head.
Oh.
Yes, it's got every result ever. As Kaylee knows, only just recently found out, bless her socks.
Let Gav carry on then.
Sorry.
Like I say, I mean, when you look at it, we've got more class than Everton. They're doing well, but I still think there's going to be a bit of a gap between the team that finishes fourth place and the team that finishes fifth place. There's going to be a 6-7 point gap. So
Between fourth and fifth?
Between fourth and fifth, yeah.
Jeez, are you even on some of Gimli's special stuff?
No, I'm being serious.
Maybe goal difference.
No,
I'm in it for the crack.
I think we'll be in fourth, or whoever's in fourth will probably be a good 5-6 points ahead of the team in fifth. There's just a little bit too much of a class gap. If we can play how we played against Man City second half, then we've only got to play like that in a 20-minute spell, and we could put 3 goals past Everton. So, like I say, I'm very hopeful that we're going to win, and yeah, I'm going for a 3-1 win actually.
Very good.
Getting all positive.
Well, it is.
Jeff's all happy. You'll love that.
It's this time. Yeah, I'll even go for Giroud first goal scorer as well. That please, Jeff.
Yeah, we need a goal scorer from you as well, Jason.
Mertesacker.
Mertesacker, oh, fantastic. He's doing it for the guests. Kris next.
Well, at the risk of having bricks and feces thrown through my window, I'm going to agree with Gav 100% on this one. And also with Jason as well. Firstly, this isn't a game that, okay, yeah, it's a tough game, but we're in the Premier League. They're all going to be tough. But there's no reason why we can't go there and win. We've done it before. It's got the feel almost of the game where, was it last season when we won with Vermaelen's goal? It's got the sort of almost that kind of feel about it again. It's an important game. We need to be at it from the off. It's not a 12:45 on Saturday, which is a bonus. We need to start fast, and I do think, much like Gav said, if we get in front, I think it'll be. I don't think it'll be a tight game. I do think it'll be a fairly comfortable win one way or the other. Yeah, they've got some decent players, but so have we. Whether Ramsey's fit enough to start or not might have quite a big say. I can't see him being thrown in at the deep end, but then, I mean, who knows at the moment. I do genuinely think we'll go up there, we'll play our football, and if we take the chances that we get, which is something that has been lacking recently, there's no reason why we can't turn them over. And also, let's not forget, we have played them a couple of times already this season. If we haven't learned something by the games we've already played against them, then we never will. And one thing in the FA Cup game that was really clear was that when we hit them on the break, okay, yeah, they were pushing forward for a goal, but they didn't seem to be such a great attacking Martinez side when they were going in the opposite way. If you let teams as good as Martinez has play, then they will beat you. Look at Wigan when they came to us a few years back. But if we dictate the pace and we go at it from the off, I can also see a 3-1 win personally.
Fantastic. And the goal scorer on that one?
I'm going to go with the Ox on that one. And also, just to keep you updated, the under-21s, they're back in it. They're 2-1 down now, by the way.
Oh, boo.
Lovely stuff. Flying the flag, boys.
Oh, yes.
Flying the flag. Thank you very much, Kris. Danny, you next, please.
Well, first of all, you've got to look at who Everton have got out injured. And Ross Barkley, like we've already said. You've got Pienaar, one of their best creative left-sided players, although he was tainted with the scum. Jagielka He says the 6th of April, so it looks like he won't be back either. Oviedo out for the season. Kone was half a decent player. Darren Gibson. So then you got to take that into consideration. The fact that if we look at the results in all competitions, the last few games at Everton, 1-1, then it was 1-0 to us, and then 2-1 to us, and then as far back as August 2009, we beat them 6-1 at their place. So that they've always been a little bit unlucky with conceding lots of goals, but I think that was under that clown Moyes. I think if we go there and we get a point, that's going to be not only a good thing at the moment because we're having a bit of an unsteady run of results, but it stops them catching us up, because if that game is anything other than a win or a draw for us, that could turn out to be terrible, because that means with their game in hand they're going to go above us. And although I am pessimistic, I do think that if you say like Ramsey could be back, I was talking to Dom, our physio bloke, last night, and he says, yeah, Ramsey may well be coming back, but it's going to take him 3 or 4 games to get back into the flow of the game. And also, he's going to have been compensating for the injury, so he's got to be careful that he doesn't injure himself again with the other leg. He's been compensating for because he said when he injured himself, he grabbed just below his buttock at the top of his thigh, at the back of his leg. And he said that's a sign that is a very bad injury, and that sort of thing, you've got to be really careful on your comeback with it, because you spent so long not using that part of the leg. So I don't think we can put too much on Ramsey coming back. But I think with the fact that the Everton defenders, you've got Coleman, who is fantastic, one of the best right backs in the Premier League. Baines, they're both usually good. I mean, I think Coleman this season's got 6 goals. Baines is always good at free kicks. Tim Howard in goal is another quality player. You've got Lukaku up front. You've got the quality midfielders. If we get a draw out of that, I'll be happy. So I'm going to say it's going to be 1-1 and Lukaku to score first. But if Dean's listening, I'm going to say we're going to beat you 8-0 and you're going to get relegated.
I'm going to go 2-0 to Arsenal with Cazorla with the first goal. We're going to do a series of mini questions for this part of the podcast. So our first one, very kindly sent in by Stephen Neighbour, who on Twitter is SJ Neighbour. He wants to know, what one area of the squad is the most important to strengthen this summer and why? And I'm going to put that to you, Jason, to start us off.
At front, isn't it? You know, we lack pace. Giroud, I thought Giroud's done great at the beginning of the season. But recently he's just moaning like a little girl and shrugging his shoulders. You know, he's had an opportunity. There's all the talk in the summer of Suarez. He's had an opportunity this season to really show Le Prof how good he is and how much he deserves that starting place. And he did well up to a point. Maybe he's tired, I don't know. But as Gav said earlier on, professional footballers should want to play every game. I just think we need to, you know, spend 80 million quid, bring 2 or 3 players in, get a bit of pace into the team and really strengthen that side of it, because the one thing we've lacked this season is goals.
Very true.
You know, that horrible Michael Owen type, the ball going off his arse. You know, Remy's available, he's 15 million quid or whatever he is. Buy him, buy Lukaku, shove 30 million down at Jose's door, and buy somebody else. You know, I'm not sure who's going to be available and who they can go for, but surely, you know, we with the amount of injuries we do get, you know, let's stack up front. If they think Giroud's worth another season, great, but he needs to sort out his behaviour and his attitude at times, and let's get some pace up there and get people running onto those balls that Ozil and Cazorla can play.
Very good indeed. Who else wants to take this one? Because you won't all get a bite of the cherry, so I will ask each question to 2 people. Who wants to answer this one?
I think Jason summed it all up. Really, it's plainly obvious where we've been missing. Everybody knew, you know, in the summer that we'd be missing a forward, and we've been missing a forward.
But then again,
next question, please.
No, you've got to take into consideration the job that Wenger will want the forward to do. Will he want someone to do, like, how many players can play up front on their own? You can't. You need someone to work with. I mean, I know Ozil's going to do that job, but partly the problem with Giroud is he's been on his own too much, and that can ruin any player. I don't care how good you are. That can knacker you.
It's because he hasn't got the pace to get away from anybody.
Yeah,
that's why. Do you know what I mean? If he had the pace or had a bit more nous about him to sort of not stand in the middle of the pitch getting man marked.
So would you keep Giroud as a backup? Or would you get rid of him?
He's going to be a very good... Well, again, the problem is if we get rid of him, then we'll have to buy 2 forwards. And, we don't like buying forwards at the moment unless they're 19-year-old postmen. You've got to hope that he stays just because of the fact that it's just so damn difficult for our club to actually buy anybody of class in that position. But he's a good player. Giroud's... don't get me wrong, I do like the fellow. Do you know what I mean? When he's putting a shift in, and he's good, and he's good at that kind of job, and he's good for that kind of player. But we need something different, and we need something with a bit more class. But he definitely should be the plan B. Who did he come on against? Scored 2 goals. That's Everton, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Look at his finish against Tottenham at the early game part of the season. That was a class finish. The boy can do it.
Yeah.
He's just not showing it.
I think there's so many times when you're watching and you think, will somebody please run in the box and get to the near post, and he kind of wanders in and gets around the gets around the penalty spot, and that's that.
Did you see against Man City? Sorry, Gav, I do apologise.
Go on.
Against Man City, I can't remember who it was. It was on the left-hand side of the park, ready to put a cross on. And where's Giroud? Giroud standing outside the box on the right-hand side of the park. Get the fuck into the box, you dick. Yeah. You're good in the air. Show a bit of desire.
I don't think he's good. I think he's good in the air everywhere else on the pitch, apart from in the box. Do you know what I mean?
That's a mistranslation. That's he's got good hair, not good in the air.
But hasn't he 2 goals from headers this season in all competitions?
I was just going to say, I can't remember him scoring any headers. I can't remember.
He won't, will he? He has to go off injured and get it redone by Vidal Sasson.
I remember he's certainly. I mean, he's certainly missed a few sitters with his head. Do you know what I mean? And the problem is, I don't think he's. Whether it's his fault or whatever, I just don't think he's got that killer instinct that you want in a the top class forwards have got.
I bet My Little Pony would be better in the air than he would.
Oh, I mean, could you imagine Ian Wright just ambling in? Do you know what I mean? Ian Wright would be sprinting in. Do you know what I mean? On stumps.
Even now he would.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean? Sweating all over the place. Do you know what I mean? And give me the ball, he'd be screaming his head off if the ball don't come anywhere near him. He's usually like, I just sort of amble in, and if the ball comes to me, it comes to me.
Did I tell you I'm a great lover?
And another thing with him, okay, when he's got a centre half on his back, give the fucker one. Don't just fall over and shrug your shoulders and check your hair. It's like, it's not my fault. Look at me, I'm so good looking.
It was not me, Bobby. It was not me.
Yeah, hey Bobby, it's not my fault. Stick one on him.
I know you said you only wanted 2 of us to chime in on this one, but I'll just chuck 50 pence worth in myself if I may. I do agree with everything everybody said. Again, we spoke about this again briefly last night. I would love to see us go out and get 2 strikers, and rather than just go out and spend all, everyone says, we need 2 £30 million players. Let's be honest, this is Arsenal Football Club. We're not going to do that. So let's be realistic. Let's go out and put all our eggs into one basket for someone who's of an upper range, like a Remy, who might well cost 15 million. I mean, if Redknapp's still there, it'll cost us 35 million. But and also, let's go out and get somebody in, as I said to you last night, Gim, in the Davor Suker mode. Somebody who's done it at the top level, who's 34, 35. I know the name I chucked to you, Gim, was Diego Milito at Inter.
Or Miroslav Klose, wasn't it?
Or Klose, yeah, exactly. Just somebody who knows where the goal is, who's going to turn up, and they'll sign for a small fee. They might drain the wages for a season, but you know what? Diaby's draining the wages, Bentner's draining the wages. What's the difference? Get somebody in who knows where the goal is, and just say to them, look, this is this so you'll probably get. Yeah, let's move on. But a player, they're going to play because we're Arsenal. We're going to get injuries, so don't sell the club to them and say, look, you're going to come in as our first choice, our second choice. They're coming in to play for a club of the size of Arsenal, and if they're any sort of a footballer, they're going to eat that up. And look at Suker. He played for Real Madrid. He didn't turn his nose up signing for us.
Well, then we dumped him off to West Ham after a season. Sorry for that, Davor. You lovely man, you.
thing is, though, he was right. I mean, he did come in and he done a good job that season.
Yeah.
He come in, he scored plenty of goals that year. I mean, Danny, you're going to have a quick check on it. But
or 14
I thought 14 or 16 or something. Was it 14?
And some important ones in there as well.
That's a good return for the fact that he was predominantly coming off the bench.
Yeah.
But like I say, Chris is bang on. I mean, that's the worry is that we'll get one player in the sort of between the 15 and 25 million pound mark,
11 goals,
and then another sort of another French postman. Do you know what I mean? That's the worry that it's all going to be down on youth really, and we do need the experience really, and experienced players bring something to the squad as well. They bring something to training. They bring something to the well-being of the club. And that's been the problem really over the last few years is we haven't had that. And I mean we've got that now. With a lot of the German lads that are very, very experienced, and you're seeing us show more character.
We've got Benica Phobe and we've got Chuba Akpom. If you want these young players that Wenger loves to work, there's a pound for me that likes to work. Keep those and make them better. We don't need to keep going out and buying another great French hope or another great German hope, or work on the ones you've got there. They're all at the club because he thinks they're good enough. So why not?
Podolski have fun for fuck's sake.
But combined with that, guys, can you imagine how much these youngsters would learn off Miroslav Klose?
Oh, exactly.
Loads.
They learn off of Pires when he comes back to train with us, or Henri. I mean, look at what Theo Walcott said when Henri first trained. I mean, and look at the player he's become. They're going to pick up on these things just like they would if Bergkamp was around. Those sort of players.
Theo Walcott. I was watching Arsenal. I'm not going to say his name, and I avoided it. I'll do 20p on that one. That was more like a 20p hit. But I was watching a documentary on that man on Sky the other day, and I think Hillwood actually turned around and said, no, it wasn't. It was David Dean turned around and said, when Theo Walcott signed for the club, the first thing he said was, do I get to train next to Thierry Henry every day? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. How many players are going to come into that team now and go, oh, does that mean I'll get to play next to Olivier Giroud every game?
Or the legend that is Park, who's now been dropped by Watford. He doesn't even make the bench anymore, for God's sake.
So, I mean, that's the thing. You wonder why a lot of these older players and the great players that we've had over the last 10 years, you've got to wonder really why there's so few of them actually around the club on a permanent basis at the moment.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, Man United, for all their problems at the moment, they're older, experienced players. They're all signing them up. They're getting them coaching roles. They're getting them about the club. Vieira's got a nice little role, and he's about the club at Man City. I mean, they're the sort of players really, like the Vieira, like Bergkamp. We should have found a way of keeping players like that around the club.
Lehmann as well. He could have done something for the coach.
Well, he's about a bit at the moment, I believe. He's doing his coaching badges, and he's done his coaching
he wants
badges.
To go into management.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. It seems like
maybe he sees it's undermining his authority as the manager.
That's ridiculous, though. I mean, did anyone see that that Man City documentary the other night where they basically
didn't watch it? No,
refused to watch it. Shit.
Granted, it was a lot of sucking each other off about how great we are since we've got lots of money. But they did have a very small piece about Patrick Vieira, and if you'd watch it for nothing else but that, watch it for that. And they gave a very short interview with him where it had him in a classroom with like an overhead projector, and all the young players from City that he coaches were sat in a room. And I mean, just watching the bloke on TV is inspiring, and I'm thinking, like, if that's me as a young professional footballer, and I'm sitting there and I'm coming into training and I'm looking at someone like Patrick Vieira, who's won titles with Arsenal, he's won the World Cup, for Christ's sake, and he is stood in front of you saying, when we're and there's a key part in the documentary where he's talking to the kids about how important possession of the ball is, and he's displaying it to it, and then they show him out on the training pitch, and he's walking around with his hands behind his back, just sort of like observing it, and you can see all these players that are just training in front of him are literally in awe of this guy. And I'm thinking, like, no offense to the guys we've got coaching now, but do we get the same thing with our training? I doubt we do. If you could have a player like that to come back, even a Martin Keown or someone like that, just come in, get hold of the defenders and go, right, lads, we're learning how to tackle today.
To be fair, sorry to cut you in there, but to be fair, Steve Bold is right up there in my opinion with the Keowns of the world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, old school elbows
with regards to that, and
if he's allowed to do it.
Well, exactly. But like I say, it's you can tell how with the defending's changed since sort of Keown's been a part of the first team training, and so I definitely think he's having a very very positive effect on it, especially with Koscielny. But like I say, it's just the whole thing in general, really. Do you know what I mean? Imagine the players turn up. You've got you're training with Dennis Bergkamp. Or you're training with Perez and or Vieira or Henry. You want these sort of legendary figures that kids have sort of grown up sort of wanting to be, and they're the sort of like the inspiration that you sort of perhaps not necessarily need amongst seasoned professionals, but when we've got such a young sort of base to our squad, these are sort of the players that you need about really, because they were model pros on and off the pitch.
Yeah.
So, like I say, it just bewilders me why there's not so many of them about, and why there's not so many of the older players about at sort of boardroom level and back scenes level. But
it makes sense. That's why.
You look at German football. I believe Dortmund have got a fair few, and Bayern have got a fair few ex-players, and German football right now is as good as it's ever been.
Yeah.
I think the proof is in the pudding, and in Germany the pudding tastes good. Right, we're going to move on.
The strudel tastes good.
Sorry, strudel. We're going to move on to the next question then, and this one is for Gav.
No, it's not.
It is.
No, his battery's dying. He said he'd be right back. Can you not read, man?
Well, we're going to have to cut this bit out, aren't we?
Why?
Okay.
Makes it sound real, doesn't it?
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh.
For the people.
Yeah, they love it.
For the people that think that this shit ain't scripted. Right. Our next question comes from Chaz Shedden, and this is at GoonerChaz1995. This is a bit of a follow-up from the last one. Danny, I'm going to go to you.
I'm here.
Hypothetically, if the man that won't be named played Giroud up front with a strike partner, could you see this improving his game? And we'll be quickly on this.
Well, yes, it would, because he would play the big man. He would be the Alan Smith, the Kevin Campbell, the Dennis Bergkamp. Just need another player like an Ian Wright. So he would. But then that would mean we'd have to play 4-4-2, and that's never going to happen. But yes, if in another team or an Arsenal team, if someone at the club had the ability to do different tactics and not stick to the same plan A the entire time, yes, I think he could. I think he would be quite good. But there again, 19 goals in 43 games is not too shonky, is it?
No, not at all. And I'm hearing in my earpiece that's Gav back with us now. So we'll carry on where we left off. Next one is from Neil Grace, and this is at N Gracie 1983. If you were majority shareholder tomorrow, what issue would you prioritise, and what would be the solution? I'm going to get that pound out of you, Gav.
You're not.
Who would you sack first?
Who would I sack first?
You can't say it.
No, I can. It's perfectly easy. I know I'd sack first. Because he doesn't actually do anything. Nobody in the 4 or 5 years since he's been at the club has found out what he actually fucking does.
Janela or something.
Ivan somebody. Ivan Gazidis. Gazides, whatever he wants to fucking pronounce his name. I don't give a fuck. I would sack him, and the first thing I would do would be to implement a stronger marketing team, so that the marketing people and the revenue that comes through from marketing and from sponsorship and from TV takes the burden off of match-going fans. So if I was majority shareholder, my main remit would be to reduce ticket prices. Simple as.
You say about marketing, however, I don't really think the marketing is a problem. We spoke about this last night, Danny.
My ideas are beautiful.
we speak to people, me and Danny, in many different countries, trying to get guests for this show and just getting people's intake on Arsenal. And we spoke to, and I won't say what I called him last night because I got his name wrong, but it's Colum, isn't it, in Japan,
Yes.
who said that you can't go anywhere or turn a street without seeing something Arsenal related on a billboard or whatever. And
that's what Dom was saying about Australia
Dom
as
said
well.
last night as well, didn't he, in Australia? So I don't think there is a problem with a marketing team. Do you know
Then
what I
they
mean?
should collect more money and ticket prices should be reduced. We haven't, like I say, I haven't got the stats and figures in front of me because I didn't know this question was coming up. But you look at the amount of partners that, financial and sponsorship partners that teams like Man United have got compared to us. It's absolutely abysmal.
I mean, their training kit is sponsored by DHL, for fuck's sake. They probably get more for that than most people get for their main kit.
Exactly. I mean, I think, like I say, I mean, their sponsorship deals just completely batter out.
It's all coming to an end, though, isn't it?
But it's good this year. I mean, like I say, this year with I think we breached on it last podcast with the fact that the Emirates are actually going to start paying us some more money on a yearly basis, and we're going to get some money off Puma where we haven't really been getting a lot of money off either Emirates or Nike over the last few years due to front-ended deals to buy the ground, etc. So, like I say, we're better off financially then, but like I say, when the money's going up so much and the money's been stockpiled so much, it's an absolute fucking disgrace that they're putting ticket prices up by 3%. It's just not right. So, I mean, the simple matter is, I mean, there is no club without the supporters, and if we're going to get to a point where ticket prices are just going to go up and up and up, the atmosphere is going to get worse and worse. There's going to be less kids about. The average age is going to go down, and it's just not good, and it's just not healthy for the future of the club to be pricing out supporters.
No.
So, like I say, we are the most expensive. We always have been slightly more expensive than everybody else because we're based in London, and traditionally Londoners earn more, and
we
London
include cup tickets.
Exactly, but it's just that really. It's just
Sorry,
it's just the prices.
Can I ask a question?
Go on, mate.
I remember reading somewhere when the Emirates was proposed, etc. That I think it's Keith Edelman or whatever. I think it's Keith Edelman, whenever it was, and he said, hopefully we're going to bring in ticket pricing so that there are cheaper tickets available for fans.
£10. Yeah, £10 was the.
That's it. So what's happened to that then? Because I disagree with you on many points regarding the Arsenal, but you know that. But on this, I can't find fault in what you're saying. I think for a paltry sum of £3 million coming in, surely they can sell a badge on an arse for that.
Yeah, I think it works out that it's an extra £1.5 million a year or whatever by increasing the ticket prices by 3%. But the club have had a good year for tickets. Do you know what I mean? I'm sorry, I'm reading what they're writing. It's really, really bad. Do you know what I mean? Because Jason's a nice fellow, and to take the piss out of him just because he's Welsh, he's bang out of order.
Fuck, it doesn't stop you doing it to me every other week, though, does it, you cunt?
You're not Welsh, so it don't matter.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
2 years.
As we've recorded this one, I'm going to play that over and over again.
Hey, Knack
Exactly.
banned.
Welshness isn't a bad thing. It's a positive thing.
I mean, exactly.
And this time, like the last one, when we said, is it because I is black? My friend in Croatia said, oh, I love Ali G. He's in fucking Croatia, and he got that straight away. And he had that other tit complaining that the podcast was being racist.
Oh, it's just one fucking
idiot.
attention
But at least this
seeker,
time
don't
we have 1.5 Welshies on the show. We have 40% nearly.
He had a picture of an Indian as his profile pic. I told him he might have his headband on a little bit too tight. See, you abuse a Bergkamp Wonderland, and that's the little nuggets that you get back.
Nuggets of turd.
Yeah.
Ask me what I'd do with the stadium then.
Do you know what? I was actually we are on such a level. I know you wanted to do a special about it, so you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you do?
Well, my special is going to be the GFP buys Arsenal. Ask me questions. That's what my Arsenal special is going to be. First thing I'd do is to cancel all season tickets, and then all season tickets are going to be £100 each, and we're going to go back through the old season tickets to people who had to give them up years ago and go, there you go. You're first on the list. Where would you like a season ticket? Where would you like to sit? And then we're going to make a database of where everybody wants to sit and try and get everyone to sit where they used to at Highbury. And then for every year you've had a season ticket, you get 1% off your season ticket. So not only are they £100 for N, plus I'll get rid of all the executive boxes as well. Fuck them. No executive boxes.
What about the non-bowlers though? Then
What?
What about the people that have only ever been to the bowl and never went to Highbury?
Oh, they've been having season tickets there for 7 or 8 seasons now, so they'd be the next ones on the list. I mean, you're not going to fill the bowl with people that
you're going to end up with a ground full of fucking old people, though, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? You're going to end up behind the goal. The average age is going to be about 70.
Yeah, but they'll just all die off, but you get the gist of it. So the main thing is offering season tickets for 100.
You ain't thought about this, have you?
So your justification behind it is, they'll all die off, so you can get a new wave of fans in there.
Realistically, how many people that used to go to Highbury are going to want to go now with all them young whippersnappers?
Realistically, I think you're talking bollocks.
Yeah, how dare you? So then it'd be that, and then all food would be sold at maybe 10% above cost. And there was one other little thing that I said to Gimli that I can't really say on the podcast because I'll get strung up by the Hague.
Yeah, you will. To be honest with you, it's pretty much not repeatable. But right then, we'll wrap that one up and we'll move on to the next question. Connor Ward, who is at Aldershot Gooner, wants to know what our favourite memories of watching Arsenal at Wembley are. We'll take 2 of you. We'll go with Jason and Gav.
Hold on. Has Jason seen us play at Wembley?
I've seen him play at Cardiff.
Oh, can we adjust the question?
By about 300 miles.
Actually, boys, I've got one. It's the day I started becoming an Arsenal fan, and I was back in home in Armandford. I was 6 years of age, and it was the Ipswich Cup final, which we lost. And I can't remember a massive amount about it, but from that day onwards, it was, asking my father and my mother, why aren't the Arsenal on TV? Why aren't the Arsenal doing this? And it came from there. So that's my favourite one because, I picked a team with red shirts and white arms, and that was it from there on in. And it's given me more fucking joy than anything, and I love it. So that's my favourite.
Spoken with true passion. Gav?
It's hard. I mean, really, if it was a question about favourite semi-finals, then I probably got a good long list of them. But actually at Wembley, probably the happiest times really was when I was a kid going to watch the Makita and just turn up and you'd pay, I think, next to nothing in today's money. Watch 2 games at Wembley, walk about on the terraces there, move about, and then go home. Really, it was just a happy time of my youth, really.
Oh, that's lovely. So we've had, with that one question, we've had passion and nostalgia from our guests and panel. That's wonderful. We'll go on to the last one then, and this will go out to all of you. And it's a simple one-word answer, pretty much. It's from AC, who is on Twitter at Austin Clench. He asks, what formation would you play as manager to get the best out of our current team? Danny.
I knew you'd come to me. I was just talking to Colin, the spider catcher.
Oh.
Yes, he's just been in here to warn me the spiders are coming. So who would I play? What formation would I play?
What formation would you use to get the best out of
Pay attention. Come on.
Well, I couldn't. I was talking to Colin. Colin's more important. He used to have season tickets as well back in the day. He'd be interested in my owning Arsenal. The formation... See, I'd like to go 4-4-2, but 4-4-2 is never going to work in modern football. Then I'd like to do my Football Manager of 3-5-2 or 3-1-5-1-6-2. But that's not going to work either. So I think we'd have to stick with the formation we've got at the moment. But I'd have out-and-out wingers on the left and right who will have no defensive duties at all. And the fullbacks are not allowed to cross the halfway line. And they have 100% defending duties. So then that's going to sort that out. And then I'd have the person in the Ozil hole swapping... from the Bergkamp hole, swapping with someone in midfield who could do the same job. The only dilemma I've got is, do you have 2 creative midfielders in the like the Ramsey and Wilshere, or do you go Flamini and one of those two? So I think away, I'd probably, against tough teams, I'd play 1 defensive midfielder, 1 central midfielder, and then at home, I'd go all out. So every home game we win 5 or 6-0. But I think we'd have to stick with the formation we've got at the moment because that's the players that we've got that play in those positions. Although playing 3 centre backs and no full-backs, I've always liked that because I think full-backs are a waste of time.
And that was all before you got your match day fish and chips for £1.27.
How dare you! I used to stop at the BP garage on the Holloway Road and get my own weight in crisps and chocolate.
Did you nick them?
I couldn't get in. I was too fat.
Kris, you next, please.
I'll keep this one brief. Really, the formation we've got now works perfectly well when we play it the correct way. There's nothing wrong with the sort of one man up front with 2 wingers playing off him. But when you play that way, you have to learn to defend properly. You have to learn that a player, for example, the left winger, his job is not just to bomb forward and score goals and set them up. His job is also to protect his left back. And equally, the left back needs to know that his job is not just to bomb forward, it's also to actually defend. So I don't think there's anything wrong with the formation we play now. It's all about the personnel that you buy to play in it and about the way they're coached to play in that system.
Okay. Thank you very much. Jason, you next.
I agree with Kris. Nothing wrong with the formation we got now. Slightly different to him. I'd have 6 big guys with baseball bats in the dressing room. And if people aren't doing what they've been told to, they have the shit kicked out of them, and that's it. That will send the warning out.
Hashtag Welsh Justice.
Exactly.
Right, finally over to you, Gav.
Yeah, like I say, I agree with everybody else. There's nothing too wrong with how we're playing at the moment and the formation that we play at the moment. The problem is when you've got players that can't play in that position being made to play in that position. For the amount of times that Aaron Ramsey got told that he had to shift and move and play on the right-hand side, which was complete and utter bollocks. But yeah, no, it's basically you've just got to make sure that you've got the right players playing in your formation. I mean, really, players should make the formation as opposed to anything else.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd probably go for a 3-2-1 with Dusty Bin up front. He'd probably get more goals than Giroud.
3-2-1.
If you're under 25, you probably won't understand that joke. Right, the next part of our show sees me open the floor to anything the panel or guests want to talk about. It could be something that has made you smile that's Arsenal related, or even a question that's made you think and want to share it. I know you have one, Kris, so we'll start off with you.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself the other night because I have no friends and think to myself a lot. I was wondering whether the panel and indeed anybody listening to this would be able to answer this one. You get to the summer, whoever the manager is or isn't or whatever we're allowed to say, and you come into the club and you've got 3 players that you are told have to go. I'll open this maybe a little bit more to say 3 first-team squad players. So that eliminates the likes of Bentner and Miachi and people like that probably will go. So you get told 3 of the first-team squad need to be sold in order to bring in players to replace them. I'm intrigued which 3 would the other guys be willing to ship from our current squad to make way for new people to come in?
Told you it was a fantastic question, Danny. So we'll start with you.
I'm eating licorice, you shitbag.
Do you want me to go down while you finish
on, Gav,
up your Bertie's all sorts?
No, it's not actually. It's just pure licorice. Helps your shit.
This is supposed to be a professional show. And you're
no drinking, no smoking, no eating, and no pets, Dan. That's the fucking rules, mate.
And I'm fondling myself, so sorry.
Oh, God.
Oh, fuck off. Right, okay, right. 3, I would... Sagna.
Yep.
Giroud.
Crikey.
Well, I mean, we're on the proviso that we're going to be replacing them, aren't we?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, okay. And... Arteta.
Yeah.
Simple. 3 players that... Well, 2 players that are coming towards the end of their career anyway.
Okay, that's fantastic. Jason next.
Exactly the same.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with what you've said there, Gav. So we'll go to Danny.
Sorry. And have a public hanging of them all. Which were squad discipline for the future.
with or without baseball bats. So you got a baseball bat them before you hang them, or hang them and then hit them with a baseball bat?
Oh, before and after. Let's make a day of it.
Would you have their families present at the actual hangings, or would
Oh
you?
yeah, I'd sell tickets for it. Boys, we can make a killing here if we do that end of every season, okay? And we can chuck Bentner in, okay, for the kids to hit.
Just like as a freebie.
Yeah, fuck it, go on. The kids, the childminders there. There's your baseball bat. Put a nail through it. There's Nicholas Bentner.
What about Diaby though? What about Diaby? I mean, just get like the toddlers to chase him about until he falls over.
Poor bastard.
Pram races, avoid the prams.
Jesus, for the second time tonight, everybody, # Welsh Justice.
Third time.
It's your third time.
Boys,
Fuck me.
That's the tip of the iceberg, that really is.
Oh, I think you should go into partnership with Danny and try and run the club.
I'd be going to go into politics, boys.
Cheap seat executions at the end of every season. Welcome to Arsenal Football Club. Thank you very much.
Half time, not the end of every fucking season. I would pick Vermaelen because I think, although I love him as a player, I just don't think his heart is in it anymore. You can't have a captain who never plays. Arteta, thank you very much for what you've done. Your career has been ruined by playing in a position that you should never have been playing in, and you managed to do a fantastic job. And Monreal, because I don't like the idea of having two international left backs. I like to have, I would rather have a youth player who's in a similar kind of thing as like Jenkinson is back up to Sagna. He's not good enough to take over full time, but he's learning his trade. And I think Monreal being at 28, coming up to 29, we paid £8.5 million for him. We need to try and get some of the money back for him. And I think at times this season, Monreal has struggled to be as good as he could be. So I'd like a young British left back. I think I was saying that when I was watching the Arsenal Youth v Barcelona game that they had some young left back playing then, and I thought it was Maitland Miles, and someone did tweet me and tell me who it was. But with me being high on licorice and painkillers, I can't remember who it was. But I don't like the idea of having two full internationals. I think remember like back in the day when we had Kenny Sampson and Nigel Winterburn both at the club at the same time, and then at West Ham you had Julian Dix, Winterburn, and Stuart Pearce all at the same time. I think if you have too many players that are top quality, it does give you competition for places, but I think it stunts the growth of young players coming through. So there's the three I'd pick. How about you, Mr. Gimli?
Sorry, Gim, before you go, can I just pick up on one thing Danny said about Arteta?
Go on.
He's played at a position. He's had the honour of representing Arsenal Football Club. Fuck him if his career's ruined. Okay? He's had the honour of representing Arsenal.
I love him.
And that should be enough. And I'm sorry, okay? We cave into these fucking pretty boy arseholes all too often. Okay? If you're good enough to play for Arsenal Football Club and we want you, be honoured, represent the shirt with a bit of pride, okay? And man up. Stop pissing about like that twat Bentner and be a man. And I think Arteta's done that to his credit.
He's making you look like a pansy, Gav.
Yeah, no, like
you left-wing loony, Gav.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a proper liberal next to fucking Jason, the baseball bat Davies over there.
He's making you look proper tame as well.
Yeah, no, I tell you. I mean, if I ever move to Wales, Jason, I'm going to live next door to you, and that's that.
You wouldn't have the likes of you, a pussy like you, living next door to him with your ponytail and your tail's whoa.
Boys, Gav's more than welcome, as long as he doesn't say Le Prof out.
Oh, God.
They'd be smashing each other's houses up on every day when he's been round again, he's smashed up the coffee table. Jesus.
He's got dog shit and put it in the handle of my car again.
Don't do that.
Too late.
I've been on a turf war with one of you Welshies, I'll tell you could go pretty extreme.
Let's not go down that road.
Chris.
Yes. Answer my own question.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I was just checking. Two names that have already come up, and I'll throw a new one in. I agree about Sanya. simple fact is, maybe not quite as blunt as Jason, but if you don't want to represent this amazing football club, then you need to move on. I don't care who you are. And the same went for that horrible Dutch bloke that we don't talk of anymore. It's the same for him.
Touchdown.
That's the one. If you don't want to play somewhere and you're not happy, and you want, whether you want more money, whether you want a new challenge, whatever it is, I don't care. If you don't want to be here, you go. So for me, Sanya will be in that category. I agree with Vermaelen on slightly different grounds. I do think he is good enough to play.
You don't
for
like
us.
the Belgians.
I don't like Belgians.
You're not even a proper country, you slags.
Even though Sanya's French, but yeah, no, I think Vermaelen needs to go, really just for the sake of his own career, to be honest.
I meant Vermaelen's Belgian. I do
Yes,
know
I
the
know.
difference.
I know.
I know Belgium is a proper country. I've spoken to a Belgianese.
You missed the joke there.
The only thing they're good is chocolate. They don't even do cheap fags no more.
No,
Fuckers.
you can't get nothing. No, I think Vermaelen, I mean, he does need to move. I was never really 100% behind the idea of him being captain. Nothing against him as a person, but I just don't think it fits. And I think for his career, he definitely needs to move on. The third one that I'd throw into the mix, he has to be classed as first team squad because of the amount he's been used, especially recently. I think Sanogo needs to go on loan somewhere, and I don't know if you class that as leaving, but he's a guy who, he's the equivalent of.
You can say shit. We know what you mean.
I don't think he's
Or
shit.
merd if you're French.
I think he's got the raw attributes, but if you compare him to Anelka, we brought Anelka in. He was a raw player with bags of talent who was good at the under 21 level, and we introduced him gradually. He came on as sub appearances, then he started to get a few starts in the League Cup, and he gradually worked his way up. Sonogo's been brought in. He's been injured for half the season. Then, by the manager's own admittance, he wasn't big enough and bulky enough, so he sends him away for 5-6 months whilst he's on our payroll. Let's not forget, as a first team squad member, he's off building his body up. Surely that should have been done before we signed him. And then we can't be relying on players like that. And I think if you sent out a Sonogo, Lukaku is a prime example. He's gone on loan twice, and he's proven now that he's ready. If he goes back to Chelsea next season, which he won't because Maureen's a twat, but if he did go back, or wherever he goes back next, he's had 2 seasons at Premier League clubs where he's had the opportunity to prove himself. Sonogo has come into a top 4 Premier League side, and the guy runs around, like the proverbial dog chasing his tail. And you can see when he comes on the pitch, he's trying. There's not a lack of effort there. He is trying to make an impression, but he's
Give me 50 grand a week. I'll try.
Well, yeah, that's a fair point.
I'll do it for 40.
He's
35.
He's clearly not good enough at this stage of his career to be playing.
How
for a team like
how
us.
old is he?
21, isn't he? I think.
Who's Sonogo?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was just looking at his stats
Do
there.
you-
He's 21.
Yeah.
Do you think, and the comparison was Anelka,
Yeah.
who had his one best season, one good season for us when he was 18, 19?
Yeah. Fair point.
1998.
I just think Sonogo was a complete panic impulse. Oh fuck, what we're gonna do? Bye.
Yeah.
And like I say, if I was Jason, I'd actually hang him by the nearest lamppost whilst his parents watched.
And tickle him, because we're not going to get that kind of violence on this
Yeah,
podcast.
with blind monks hitting him with blunt spoons.
Because nothing worse than
He's a waste of wages. The best thing for Sonogo is to, as you said, chuck him out on loan. If he does well, he does well. If he don't, then, like I say, give him to Jason.
But look at he's under 16 for France, 18 games, 18 goals. Under 17, 9 goals in 16 games. Even for the under 20s, 5 goals in 10 games. So there is something there. But I think this leads to stats when he was at Auxerre.
So was Cabadiawara, though. How good was Cabadiawara before he came? How good was
Ali Aladir?
Ali Adair, yeah.
Diawara thing was a kind of a Kenny Sampson, Clive Allen thing where they wouldn't sell him to Marseille, so we were just a stopping off point between the 2 French clubs, and all he did was kick the ball against the crossbar. He was unlucky, 3 inches left or right, and he'd have been top goal scorer that season from the amount of shots he had for half a season.
Yeah,
I think Sonogo, if he could actually start kicking the ball, actually learn how to kick a ball, he might be quite good.
He needs to go somewhere and play a lot of games, and then I think he can be a half decent striker, and you never know, he may even be very good.
He He wants to
gonna happen.
deliver the ball in the back of the net, the silly twat.
We've-
Right
we've-
then.
There's more chance of fucking Diaby being fit for a full season, I'm afraid.
Did you answer this question, Gim?
Who would I want gone?
Yeah.
I didn't. I would.
You
It would
can't pick
probably be-
Viviano. You can't pick him.
It would be.
Don't say it's LLM.
LLM.
No.
Oh, it's out of time and everything. This has gone to shit.
Yeah.
Now, it would be Vermaelen, Arteta, and Giroud for me. We'll move on to the other part of the podcast, which is, still any other news. And I'll hit you guys with the news that Johan Giroud yesterday signed a contract with Hamburg that will see him.
Yes!
I haven't stopped crying yet. It's been I couldn't leave the house. I was such that.
That's Plymouth Justice.
I'm
I'll
just.
tell you, there's a fella who needs a backbone, isn't there? Johan Giroud.
I'm fucking glad he left before Jason got to him.
Honestly, what a cunt.
Don't sugarcoat it, Jason. Just tell it like it is.
Boys,
alright?
he was the biggest pile of dog shit I've ever seen on a football pitch, and I've seen a pile of dog shit on a football pitch.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Sorry, lads, and that's my opinion, lads.
I'm in tears here, boys. I can't do this much longer. We'll move on then to the next bit of news, which is, and I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, so anyone that can pronounce it correctly, I apologise. Drimich at Nuremberg. There's supposed to be some movement with this kind of deal. Kris, I know you've got a little bit more on this in the actual story that was released. I know Jan Argafjortov, friend of the show, tweeted about it, didn't he?
Yeah, first thing I'm going to preface this by saying before I get the inevitable hatred and various things thrown at me on the wonderful world of Twitter, I am not an ITK, nor am I an agent, nor have I got a postman who changes the wheels of a celebrity fashionista who once played in the Premier League in 2003. This is purely from a friend I have who lives in Germany and has done for 12 years now. He's a very big fan of Nuremberg, which is where Dermich plays. And as soon as this news came out, I read, like you guys did, the Fjortov tweet. I was straight on the phone to him and I asked him about what he could tell me, whether there was any information he could give me on it. All he said to me was that during the January window, when we were interested in Draxler, there was essentially a backup plan, and Dermich was that backup plan. He came across, again, so I've been told, he was introduced to the staff and he was shown around the training ground, and he was given sort of the idea that, listen, if we don't get Draxler, you are likely to be our next target, which quite what that means, I don't know. Second choice. But yeah, he was invited to view around the training ground and was apparently given a medical. Whether that was actually at our training ground or back in Germany, the guy I know doesn't know that, but he was informed he was given a medical, and all the terms were agreed between Nuremberg and Arsenal. That was as far as it went. There was never going to be a deal done in January, which is probably why nothing ever came out in January. But from what I've been told, it is on the table, and it's just down to Arsenal whether they want to pull the trigger on it. And we all know from the past, Juan Mata being a prime example, just because we've got a deal on the plate ready to be signed doesn't mean it's going to happen. So I don't know who leaked it. I don't know where it came from. The one thing I will 100% confirm, which my friend John has also told me, he doesn't have a wife. And that story about his wife house hunting was indeed complete bollocks. But the link is, from what I'm told, quite real. And there's a good possibility that he will sign. And very briefly, I know Gimli wanted me to mention about where he plays. He's not an out-and-out goal scorer, so you can all start slitting your wrists again. He's very much a wide of a three, so he fits our style. He cuts in from the right-hand side, so if anything, I would say he's kind of a cover for Walcott, would be my ideal sort of description of him. But he's quick. He's quite young. He's got an eye for goal. He's not a particular sort of player that's going to nip up and score poachers sort of goals. He's more of a cut inside and shoot type of player. But he is talented, and yeah, the link is there. From what I'm informed, it is genuine. Whether it happens though, as I say, don't shoot the messenger. I've got no more information on that.
Aren't Everton and Liverpool sniffing around him as well?
That's also been talked about, but let's bear in mind that that's only come out since we were apparently linked with him. So you know what it's like. As soon as somebody says, "Oh yeah, we're in for a player," Tottenham and all the other sides all of a sudden go, "Oh, we must buy him because Arsenal want him, so we must buy him." I wouldn't necessarily believe that. Everton of the two would probably be more likely because Liverpool, I don't think they've got room for him, the players they've got.
He's doing a Podolski as well. He's at a team that look like they're going to get relegated from the Bundesliga.
Exactly.
And he's got 16 goals in 27 games. I was looking at this last night. I'd never heard of the bloke. But I like to go and look at people's youth career for their national team. And 6 goals in 7 games for the under-19s, 6 and 11 for the under-21s. And for the full squad, 5 games, 2 goals.
Did you see his... Sorry to cut. Did you see his record for Zurich before then as well? It's pretty handy.
18 in 26, or his youth Zurich 26 and 26.
26 and 26, and I know we were talking about Sonogo and not proven, but he's got a bit about him, and the fact that if we look at a lot of his goals, they've been against fairly decent sides in the Bundesliga. He's not just got against any old mugs, and also, as you rightly said, Nuremberg are really struggling in the Bundesliga this year, but he is scoring goals for them. It's usually the mark of a good player who can step up and score against sides, even when he hasn't necessarily got a massive amount of good players setting him up. So I think he's worth a punt, and he's a classic Arsenal signing. He would cost a packet of pork scratchings and a hand job around the back of a co-op. So he is arguably the sort of player that we would likely go for. Let's just hope he's more Podolski, less Jovino if it does happen.
Yeah, I think he is a good player, and plus he's not left-footed, which is an absolute... I can't believe Wenger is even sniffing around anyone who's not left-footed. It says there that he's right-footed. Plus it could only be up to about 10 million quid, and we've got rid of one Swissman, we can get another Swissman out. Why not? Out. You can't have too many Swiss.
No, exactly. Definitely. We should also cover, before we go, the new shirts that you tweeted from the podcast account, Danny.
I did once, you did 26 times. But there was a point behind that because we're talking about it tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
So, do you want to say that about people saying it's bullshit and the fact that it can't be?
Yes. Do you want me to explain to you?
Well, I can. I don't mind. I've got the pictures in front of me.
No, I'll leave it up to you then.
Oh, that means you've no idea. Fair enough.
No, I do.
Well, the pictures that we saw the pictures from Arsenal edits, and you always think bullshit when people have done these, but they look pretty convincing. And they were saying, "No, they look like the old Arsenal shirt from years ago. Looks like a Dortmund reject." And other people were saying, "No, it's absolute bullshit. That is no way the Arsenal shirt. I know someone who knows someone." But then someone was nice enough to tweet us a picture that we'd forgotten about, the picture of Linford Christie, Bakary Sagna, and Olivier Giroud. And so we add that picture there, and Thierry Henry is wearing the exact same shirt, the Puma bit's in the same bit, even the way it comes across the top of the shoulders and thins as it goes just across the badge from the back. Even all those bits there, they're all identical, every single bit about it. So for me, I think that could be damn close to what the actual kit is, and I think it's nice, it's plain, it's simple, but I'm still not a fan of having dark blue on our kits.
No, I've never been so turned on by a description of a shirt than that, Danny. I'm quite.
Have you seen the new shirts, Gav? What do you think to them?
I don't know. You get so many that come out, and whether they're leaked in advance or whether somebody's just sort of photoshopped them and chucked them out. I kind of just get to a point now where I don't really pay a lot of attention, to be honest with you. I've got a funny feeling though that the new shirts are going to be more designed for the slimmer fitting gentleman and lady.
I'll be buying 3.
Got it.
Do you know what I mean? You buy 3, then cut them up, stick them together, you'll be fine. But like I say, I mean, blokes, I think there's something endemically wrong with older males wearing kits, especially when they put young boys' names on their backs. Do you know what I mean? I think there's something slightly wrong in their makeup.
You'd hate me, Gav. You really would.
He's got his entire collection. He's got a wardrobe that I've shown people. He's a link to his wardrobe full of stuff, a walk-in wardrobe, and it is a thing of beauty.
It is beautiful.
And I must admit, I generally tend to go for the lesser-known players because I can't stand people that just go out and go, "I'm going to buy an Ozil shirt," because it's so obvious. So I have got a lot of younger players. I've actually got a Rio Miyachi shirt. No word of a lie.
Well, I found.
Is this some kind of manga fetish you've got going on there or something?
No, I'm just a bit simple.
Well, I was
I agree. Go on.
when I bought my new bed. In the drawer underneath, I found a 1994 Arsenal kit. Now, in 1994, I was about 11 or 12 stone, and it was a medium-sized kit. And now I'm about 20 odd stone, and I managed, with the help of my daughter, to put the top on. Took pictures of me in it, and then put it on the podcast account maybe about 3 weeks ago. So if anyone wants to go and have a look, you see a picture of me, and I think there's a little bit of nipple there for the ladies. If
Have you managed to get the top off yet? Then
no, I've just had to wear it. It's now just something stuck between the crevices. You can barely notice it's there.
I'm surprised you got a fucking arm in it, let alone your whole body.
It did take two of us to get me on it, but yeah. So if the ladies want to go and have a look at that, I will be doing signed copies, and I am still single, ladies. If you know how to cook and you're no stranger to a sticky bun.
Lovely stuff.
And you don't mind being told to fuck off every now and then.
Right then, so the general consensus is we like the shirts.
Yeah.
Danny, over to you now for a quiz.
A competition
quiz
thing. No, it's a competition.
Oh.
Yeah. It's from one of Gav's friends, who is Dan and M, and this is what I've had to write this down to get it in the right kind of order. This week we have a prize up for grabs. It's a she-wore rosette and is being given away by our friends of the pod, Dan and M. So they're both lifelong Gooners, and I think Gav was telling me about Dan and that his grandparents had something to do with the building of Highbury. Did you tell me that?
No. Might have been Dan.
Or maybe yeah, that's what I said. Dan, not M. I don't even know who M is. I take it as his other half.
Oh, you're doing a great job of shutting them out.
Well, maybe Dan told me in DMs or something that his family have been Arsenal supporters for a million generations, and his granddad had something to do with the building of the East and West Stand.
He's done quite a lot of little blogs and Arsenal and me and little stories about Arsenal games for the shewar.com website over the last few months. And
well, there you go.
Yeah, so he's got a vast knowledge, and he's a good lad, Dan. He's a very good lad.
That's very good. So
they do those photo setups as well, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They're there for sale as well. But the one they're giving away is the rosette. So all you have to do is go and follow them, and they're at, I don't know why they've got such a name that is ALSNOTNUTZ. Owls not nuts. That's madness. It's utter madness.
We'll get it tweeted from all the accounts anyway.
Yeah, we will do. And so the question is, all you have to do is go and follow them and answer this question with the hashtag Operation Arsenal Art. See, I've got it in one long tag thing. There's no spaces, and I'm struggling to read it. With the hashtag Operation Arsenal Art. No spaces, no nothing, just like that. And the question is, who was our number one goalkeeper when we first won the double in 1970-71? So just tweet them what that name is, and then they will give one person. But it's only open to the UK, because these things aren't really worth that much money, and it probably costs more to post it abroad than what it's actually worth. So you can actually go and buy these things. Gav's got some lovely she-wore things, all to celebrate us being at Wembley. Go and get some. And then, so they're going to pick a random person, and it won't be any of us. So go and give them a follow. And they also, if you go and have a look at their account and go and have a look at their pictures, they have got some really nice compilation stuff that they've made, where they get like a frame with 3 photos of old Arsenal days, or they get a parts of a programme or a front page of a programme and put those together. And they've got loads of things. They don't ask much from them, and they're fellow Gooners, so go and support them all you can. And they did try and bribe us with a night of passion with Gimli, but we said no, none of us are interested with that. That was going to be a prize.
Why do you keep whoring me out for? Every week you seem to be whoring me out to all and sundry.
Because you asked.
Because he needs a couple of quid.
I've got more money than Baby Jesus. So I think that's all I need to say about that lot. So it's very nice of them to give it away, but remember, only if you're in the UK, because they're not going to pay 12 quid to post it to Azerbaijan.
I think the rosettes are lovely as well. There's something kind of old schooly about them as well.
1970s and 60s, it reminds me of.
Did you?
Something kind of old school about them that are just good. They're just nice. I think they're well done as well. They're well made. They're well made. They're well designed, and
much like your very own ones. If someone would say, for instance, wanted a badge pin or a little yellow bow saying she-wore, do you know where you could possibly get one, Gav?
You can email me at shewar@gmail.com.
You're selling them? Say that again. I was talking over you.
I've probably driven people absolutely mad, but yeah, shewore@gmail.com, or if you go on the website shewore.com, there's a picture on them somewhere, and I've probably driven people absolutely mad. But like I say, people are liking them, and people are still buying them, and it's taken up a hell of a lot of my nights at the moment, putting them into nice little envelopes and posting them out to people. But what's going to be nice is going to the semi-final next weekend and seeing loads of people walking about with these little yellow ribbons on them. I think that's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Oh. Yeah, definitely so. If people want some more information about that, if they go to the pod account, I think within the last 3 pictures that we posted are Gav's ribbons. So go and have a look. Click on,
and make sure there's a picture of the rosettes on there as well for Dan.
Yeah, I'm going to put the picture of the rosette along with the contact details, and the hashtag will be on www.bergkampwonderland.co.uk. I nearly said the.
I retweeted the rosette.
Oh, cheers.
Did you score us any of these rosettes?
Score us any?
Yeah.
No, see, people have in the past offered the podcast stuff for free. I said, oh, can I send you this or send you that? I said, no, if you want to do anything like that, just give it to us and we'll give it away as a prize, because we're kind like that. And we only deal with people that are Arsenal supporters, like my friend who does the caricatures.
No, we're not. We're cunts, Danny. Get us to send it in and we'll split it amongst the 7 of us.
Anyone, just go out there and search for Sean, which is SEAN, Savage, caricatures. I can't even fucking say it. And some of the ones that Sean does are absolutely stunning. And on my Facebook page, you will see the only picture I have on there is a caricature that Sean did of me. And it's absolutely brilliant. And yeah, so if you want a caricature, they're out there, and the badge pins. And we're only ever try and force stuff on you don't want that is from fellow Arsenal fans that is based around Arsenal.
It's stuff that you don't realise you want, but you actually need it. Your
Christmas
life will be more complete if you buy it. Exactly. Get it early. Save the hassle.
Yeah, that's it.
If you've got a mate who's an Arsenal fan, buy him a badge.
Buy all of them.
Yeah, every single one. Right, Danny, I understand you've got some quick-fire questions for us.
I certainly have. There was some that I asked nice and early yesterday, and then I think I've gone and deleted them off my page. Oh, here we go. This is a quick one from someone who said, make sure you effing ask this question. I don't know why I said effing. Make sure you ask this fucking question. He's a cheeky monkey. He is at MERTKOZ46. Has Arsene Wenger, I'm allowed to say it,
no, you're not.
He owes me £1. Has Arsene Wenger won the league for the last time with Arsenal? Gav.
That's twice you said it then.
I was going to say, I've added that one.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So sad, but yeah.
You think
hopefully he has not won the FA Cup for the last time.
Jason?
Come on, the Arsenal.
No chance. He's going to win it again with us, boys. I'm not buying into Gav's negativity. We're going for it. We're going to win the title in the next 2 years, no problem whatsoever. And then Gav's going to have to swallow his words.
Excellent. I don't believe that for a second. Go on, Mr. Gimli. Lay down some truths.
I think he'll win the FA Cup.
That's not the question, is it?
Well, okay, then I don't think it's the last thing that will win.
The last league? Is this the last league he's going to win?
Oh, no, he won't win the league again with him in charge. Not a chance.
You
Chris?
negative fuckers.
Yeah. If you can get over
we're being positive, Jason. The positive thing is next year, new man in charge, we're going to win the league.
Yeah, there you go.
Be positive.
I'm holding my tongue.
This is so tricky. I'm going to go with Jason. I'm going to say yes. But hang on. But there's a massive but. There's a but so big, it's the size of the whole Kardashian family added together. The but is he has to spend the money that he's given in the summer, and he has to get rid of the dead wood in the summer. And yes, I'm sorry, Mr. Diaby, I love you dearly, but that includes you.
No. I think he's got no fucking chance. There you go. I answered that in under 3 seconds. This I was not sure I really want to ask that one. I think we've kind of covered that one. Now, these one I asked again earlier today. I said some faves. So I favoured all the ones. One answer from each of you. Jeremy Gooding, who is at Gooding_Jerome, says, if you could sign any player from the Premier League, who would it be? Personally, I would pick Aguero. But that's never going to happen. Anyone else? Gim, who would you pick?
I would sell my left bollock for Suarez.
Oh, Chris.
Can I preface this and let's say a realistic signing?
All right then, fair enough. If you're going to shit on my firework.
It sounded so harsh, didn't it? But come on,
Yeah,
we're never going to get Aguero. We're not going to get Suarez
if
now.
I can
Those
talk
ships
sense.
sailed.
All right then, so it's going to be some one-legged fool.
Matroglu at Fulham.
Steve Sidwell. Genuine answer? Oh, okay. Does Remy count? Because he's on loan from QPR, isn't he?
He's a little bit rapey.
Yeah, but
Gotta
we
be
like
allowed that.
we
He's
like
got he's got a touch of the Van Persie's about him. Excuse the pun.
I was just going to say we rather like a striker with a reputation, don't we?
Oh, Jesus.
I would say Remy if you class him as a Premier League player. If you don't class him as a Premier League player,
Right, currently playing in the Premier League. So
I'll go with Remy then, purely because I can't think of anybody else that would be good enough.
Do you want to tell any of us we're idiots, Jace? Have you got anyone else you want to pick?
I'd
Gareth Bale, maybe? Mark
boys,
Hughes?
I'd sell both of them Gimli's bollocks for Suarez.
You're not charged by the pound.
I'd go for Lukaku.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. And Gavster?
Can I have a manager instead of a player?
I knew that was coming.
Martinez, by any chance?
Well, out of all the Premiership managers, then yeah.
Oh, you don't want that Moyes bloke?
Or
No, I think he's tied down to a long contract, isn't he?
Oh, bless
Or-
him.
We're being realistic.
how about we spend our entire summer transfer budget on Eric Lamela? That would be a good idea, wouldn't it?
Right, this,
Remember him?
I think this one may be aimed just at Chris, so I'll only ask Chris this because none of you. Well, actually, I'll answer it as well.
Baseball bat the hardest. Go on.
This is from Santi, who is at Guna Santi. Name one current and one past Arsenal player who you would want as a tag team partner in a wrestling match. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a beauty. Right. Well, current is just obvious, Flamini, because you know he'd be good at eye rakes, he'd be good at low blows, he would constantly distract the referee, and he'd be a brilliant heel partner. Anyone that likes wrestling knows what a heel is. It's a bad guy, basically.
Yeah.
From the past, we could have a gimmick tag team, and I'll go with Perry Groves, just because he'd be hilarious.
Oh, no one else wants to answer this apart from me. From the past, Oleg Luzhny, the horse.
The horse, yeah.
He'd go and fuck shit up. He'd snap the bloody.
Nah, I've got one, by the way.
Have you? Oh, go on then. Who would you have?
Yeah, I'd have Lauren from the past, mate. He's ice there. The ice stairs. Do you know what I mean? He would get you.
Yeah.
Would he be any good in a TLC match though? And that doesn't mean tender loving care.
Tables, ladders, and
Chairs.
Yes, yeah.
I think he would be. He got up and down the wing, all right, didn't he?
I
Got
suppose
up and down the ladder.
I suppose no one picked Carnu, old 9'6" Carnu. He's too young to wrestle. He's only 12.
Yeah.
All right, this one is another good one that I like. AFC Life 14, who is at the same name, says favourite moment so far this season, Jason.
Actually, very simple. Rosicki's goal against the Spuds.
Is that when he was floating in midair like a Greek god?
He was all Bruce Lee over that shit. It hit the back of the net. Those cunts looked unhappy. Happy days. I was jumping about like a little schoolgirl thinking, fucking yeah, bastards.
On a little schoolgirl or like a little schoolgirl? I didn't hear you, then you broke up.
Like a little schoolgirl.
Oh, bless you. Pigtails and everything. Gim?
I'd agree with Jason, actually. I exploded over the sofa.
Oh, God.
I do that most nights anyway.
What an image.
When you ask the missus what's for dinner and she says pot noodle, you're just like a fountain of love.
It's bacon and eggs tonight, Gimli!
Gav, go on. What would be your moment to see? Would it be the moment that Wenger fell over in the airport?
I think that's you're into this for about a fiver now, Dan, aren't you? I'm the only one that hasn't said his name the whole fucking podcast.
Look at you making your millions from your badges. The irony is palpable.
Exactly. I'm hoping that the moment of the season hasn't happened yet. That's what I'm hoping.
Good shout.
Is that when we lose?
I mean,
60?
well, I mean, this kind of question really should be for the end of the season. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
I think our high point is going to come. He's going to come hopefully in Northwest London.
Oh, what a
Let's
shithole
hope so.
that is. Commiserations if you live there, but it's one of the biggest shitholes I've ever had the misfortune of driving through.
You've clearly never been to Plymouth, have you?
Oh yeah, I like the southwest. I like the ladies' feet. Have you answered this one, Chris? I don't think you have you?
No, but I will. I think we've all forgotten the signing of Ozil.
Oh, yeah,
That would have to be, if you're talking footballing, I'll go left field. I'd say the win in Dortmund. I know it didn't ultimately lead to anything, but we were written off pretty much from the minute we got across there on the plane. And that was a real turning point. And just as a small caveat, that's a big word, wasn't it?
Yes.
We'll chuck in.
Googling it now.
I think it's a kind of tie.
Yeah, I'm taking tied around your neck. I was like, what's that?
We'll chuck in a non-Arsenal moment of the season for me, and that was when Tactics Tim threw his gilet onto the floor in disgust, because that was hilarious. That really was hilarious.
Can I change mine?
Oh, go on then.
No.
I want the home defeat against Aston Villa, and I want it to be the third Aston Villa goal, because I think that's when I realised it was just more of the same old shit, just a different season. So I could give up all hopes of expectation and just watch them through teary eyes. Thank you very much. Moment of the season. Move on.
Can I have when I was playing FIFA, which I very rarely play, and I beat Spurs 17-0 on
Wrestling, FIFA, we'll talk about fucking Tic Tacs in a minute. Do you know what I mean?
I think my favourite, the moment I squealed loudest at was the Rosicky goal, and the bit that I was like, oh, was the replay of Wilshire's goal where he went around the entire team. And so the replay of that, because you didn't realise just what the fuck had happened until they'd replayed it the second, third or fourth time. That was absolutely fantastic. This is another really good one, a question. It is from Luke Mario Spiteri, who is at LUI_5389. This is great. He says, is there any way to get Kalou banned from the UK so we no longer have to shit ourselves every time he's linked to the transfer? I don't think
I would actually send Jason round. That's all we got to do.
I've got some inside knowledge on this one actually. So this might be good news for you all. For those who don't know, I follow a team in France. I follow Lorient, who is funnily enough where Gilles Sinou and Jeremy Aliadier now play their trades. There was quite a lot of talk this week that good old Kalou might, and I'll stress the word might, have signed a pre-contract agreement to join Lorient in the summer. So if that is the case, then we'll be free,
and then smiling,
and then we can go after our number one target, which was Sebastian Frey, of course. Remember him?
Certainly do. French goalkeeper, spent most of his time playing in Italy, and I thought he was playing in MLS, but that's another goalkeeper called Frey. I think he's in Germany now, isn't he? Or was he in France? He's in one of the two.
I've got no idea.
Oh,
he's somewhere.
Okay, right. The last question is from someone called his username is It's Up for Grabs Now, and is at Swedish_bastard. He's our kind of player, and he's got a picture. His avatar is a picture of the manager with his full Keegan perm, and being Swedish, not biased at all. He's put favourite Arsenal Swede. He's put Limpar or Ljungberg. But there's been others. I mean, there's Henrik Larsson. No, not Henrik Larsson. Sebastian Larsson. It would have been nice to have Henrik Larsson.
Stefan Schwartz.
You got Jim Chalistrom, Stefan Schwartz.
It's got to be Freddie, though, isn't it? I mean, seriously, if there's one man that could turn me to the opposite sex,
you're getting all Gimli on us now. He's picked any excuse.
He's a lovely man. I mean, just for anyone that doesn't know, I had the misfortune to
be impregnated by him.
No, well, on the same lines, but unfortunately I did reproduce. I'm sorry to the world, but there is another little me running around, and he is called Freddie, and there is only one reason why he's called Freddie, and my ex-missus, of course,
she was thinking about him, or you were thinking about him at the
time. She had to think about him for me to do the deed, but no, he
make your Freddie mask on.
the best streak through the air.
The best part.
Did you have his name on the back of your shirt?
Whilst I was doing it, yeah.
Fucking story.
The best part.
Pubes.
The best part about it is that we were going through it's an ex, so I can say what I like about it now, but we were going through baby names like everybody does, and I wanted something Arsenal related because, well, obviously, and she was like, what sort of names do you reckon? And I just casually one night went, what about Freddie? And she went, oh, I quite like that. And from that moment it was sold, and I even managed to get his middle name, which is Mark, and it's spelt with a C, and I'll leave you to wonder why that is.
Lovely
So
stuff.
there you go. That's why my Twitter handle is @AFC38, by the way, because of his name.
My story about a child's middle name. My daughter is soon to be 16, and I haven't spoke to her for a while because she told me to F off at the weekend. So I'm blanking her up until the point.
Grown up.
Yeah, well, it's either that or punch her in the face, and I'm not allowed to kill me. But I'm not a fan of children swearing. I don't like it. So when we're up to the point where we're in the waiting room at the registry office, her middle name was going to be Banana Custard.
Yay.
But it ended up being Xanthi. Her mother picked it. I just picked her first name, which I'm not going to say because otherwise people might stalk her, and then she'll do bird for murdering your ass. So I think my favourite Swedish player is going to be Anders Limpar because, as I've said before on the pod, I won't bore people. At David Seaman's testimonial, Anders Limpar sat next to me for the entire game, and I spoke to him for at least half an hour, and he didn't. Most of it started talking about half time and only a bit of the second half. But yeah, lovely bloke. And I said he should write a book, and he said he was in tears when George Graham, I get £1 back for that. George Graham and another one said that he said I didn't want to leave. He said no, you'll be. He said he didn't even turn his chair round. He called him to the office. I'm sure this was him. He said he called him into the office, had his back to him, and said you're sold. And that was it. That's all she wrote. I'm sure that was Limpar, that story. But there again, I could be getting that mixed up with something else I've got no idea about.
No, it is the Limpar story. He said in an interview, isn't he?
Yes. Why has someone just put Kris?
Because
they
were asking me about the Wenger fund. I've been keeping tabs, and it's currently £9.20.
Well, the Patience fund still hasn't been paid up, so I don't think there's anything for that getting paid up.
Just for those listening, the £9.20 that we've raised from this podcast is going to go to the victims that Jason has baseball batted in the past.
I tell you what, it is one. Weng. Right, that takes it up to a tenner.
There you go.
None of which any of you are going to bloody pay for.
Well, none of them were mine. I ain't mentioned the fucking idiot's name.
Yeah, look, it's like it's got out of paying the bill already. So
that was me thinking you'd have to sell another 100 pin badges to make up for tonight. Right then, if Danny's done with the questions, if we could get some shout outs, we'll carry on with you, Danny.
Yeah, shout out. Just someone else I put here, mate. I said on Twitter, any quick short questions for the pod, short ones, and someone's put why. So there you go, nice one, Benny.
Well, thanks for that really interesting contribution.
Yeah.
Big thumbs up to you, fella.
Yeah, I've got two shout outs.
That's actually a better question than the fellow the other week who asked, do you think we should shoot more?
He did that. He said he thought his emails. And he said he thought it's funny the way you plagiarised and bastardised and ruined his question.
Fucking sue me.
Tell you the amount of emails we very rarely get emails. You can go to bergkampwonderland.co.uk and then there's all our contact details for the site and stuff. And we've got an email, and then the only emails we ever get are ones abusing Gav, telling him he's full of shit. I'll forward that to him, and he doesn't give a fuck. But my shouts are going out to Jack, who is at SW Gooner AFC. He was kind enough to have done as a blog, and I was kind enough to actually put it up. And if any of you have sent me a blog to put up, because most of the time I'd rather be watching telly than doing any kind of editing on the website.
Or wanking.
Yeah, well, I've got some lovely new porn. Oh, it's a right treat. No, don't start going on like that.
Midget fucks a clown.
No,
I'm just
while a dog watches.
No stuff.
With his lipstick out.
1940s. You don't see any boobs or any lady garden because
that's not porn. That's what they used to show on Channel 5 on a Thursday night.
Oh my God, I've made a terrible mistake all these years. Anyway, shut up. He's done a blog for us. If anyone else has done
Downton Abbey, you've been watching, not porn.
Downtown Abbey, love it.
Fun.
Yeah, so if you have done a blog for us and we haven't put it up, just remind me because I will forget. It's nothing personal. Poor old, what's his name? The Jockman, the Scottish Arsenal fan. He had to barrack me for a month to get that one put up. So eventually I did. And then finally to Dom, who is at OzGuna49, because we had a good old chat with him last night, and he's helping me sort my elbow out and my other various aches and pains. And he's just a generally nice bloke living in Adelaide. And it's very nice there.
Fantastic. Gav, next.
So firstly to everybody who emails the podcast to slag me off, keep up the good work.
We love reading them.
They love reading them. They don't even bother sending to me, so don't fucking waste your time. And secondly to D Hammy 1971, who we've managed between us, fuck knows how, to secure some nice seats for the semi-final. So I look forward to. I'm going to a game. I'm going to a real live game.
Jeez.
Because I've been to enough real live games to qualify for a ticket. Oddly enough.
You don't go to any bloody games. You've not been to a single game this season, have you? I didn't think you went anymore like me.
He went to Palace, didn't he? Or did you go to Chelsea?
No, I've booked up a few tickets. No,
You're on the fiddle here, aren't you, son? Admit it. You've been cornered and grassed.
Yeah, this will be probably it will be the first game that I've gone into the ground this season.
That doesn't. I drove past the ground. That'll do. I'm going home now.
No, you know what I mean. I mean, like I say, I equally as class going up to the game as going up and watching the game in the pub with me mates up the pub as I do actually going in the ground. The ground doesn't really too much interest me really, but
I might
like I say,
go on.
because I've been in enough games over the last few years, qualified for the first set of silver ticket sales, which was nice. And if you offered a ticket, you go, don't you? It's cheaper. It's actually cheaper than going a grade A game at our ground, which is a bit of a weird one, really. But there you go. So like I say, I'm looking forward to going with him and his two boys. It's his two boys' first game at Wembley, which is always a special occasion for a father and sons. And so, like I say, I'm glad that he's sharing it with myself and my missus. So that's my shout out. Now move on.
Okay, and Kris.
Two quick ones from me. One, I'm really sorry if I get your name wrong, sir, because I'm just a simpleton from Britain. But it's a chap called Anshit Bhagat.
I know him well. I'm always chatting to him on Twitter. Nice bloke.
He's a top guy. He really
Does he live in
He's,
America?
He does. Yes, he's based in Philadelphia.
That's it. I know the man.
I think he was born in Bangalore for memory. But
aren't we all?
Oh, exactly. He's a top man. He is at Guna Godfather, exactly as it sounds. I won't spell it out for you. And the other one is a lady I've recently been speaking to, and she's also awesome, and that's Selena. Selena is a Guna, to be exact, and her handle is at Turkish Shorty Goon, which is TurkishShortyGoon.
She's a top laugh.
She's lovely, and
she is.
She told me I was huggable, and she wanted to put things in my beard. I think it might have been dynamite. I don't know.
We all make mistakes in life.
You sure she said beard then?
I don't know what she said she was on about, but I think she's retracted all previous statements.
As long as it wasn't jizz, we're all right.
Oh,
but
God.
She's a bit of a cheeky minx as well. We've seen a picture of her.
He's got a semi, so we'll go over to Jason.
A couple of people I speak to quite regularly on here on Twitter. One's Guna Gal, at Arsenal Mine. She's top quality. And the other one is Keeping It in the Homeland, Welsh Wizard of Ozil, at Epitaph. That's Kev. He's a good laugh. He's a good lad. And that's it.
Well, there you go. Have you got any, Mr. Gimli?
Has he died?
Oh, no. It's a bloody... There's a problem with the call. Luckily, it's at the end of the pod, and I'll be able to edit this bit out.
You know what we should do? We should finish the podcast now.
Without him.
Yeah, all turn Skype off and ignore him for the rest of the night.
Laugh out, put the cat out.
Oh,
okay, well, that has been a Bergkamp Wonderland podcast. I'd like to say that Jason hasn't killed Gimli, but it looks like he might have done. I hope you've all enjoyed it like we have. And, up the Arsenal.
No, cheeky monkey.
Oh.
Is there anybody there? Oh, where have they gone? Oh, fuck it.